Okay, by fan request, a video on Rugby 7's, Rugby Union 7's. Interest started getting piqued in 7's because someone had the bright idea of taking it to Hong Kong, which is obviously in China when it was a British territory, and playing a 7's tournament in the 1980s. Look how it's developed. It's got rugby as an Olympic sport again because of the success of it. It has improved the skill set, the physicality, and the fitness levels of rugby players. As the game has gone professional, fitness levels have improved, but Rugby 7's has something to do with that because you have to be so physically fit to play it. Because it's such a you're playing on a full-size pitch with half the players. You basically, the game has to be shorter for your own health, but you're playing up to 7 games in a weekend, a tournament in a weekend, 3 games a day. Because it's so quick-paced, the fans will never get bored. There's always another game coming. There's always another one. Oh, now we have South Africa, New Zealand. Now we have Australia, England. We have France, Italy, 7's, and that could be your lineup for the first 3 games. And you're like, what? And then it gives exposure to players who are on the periphery of their national or club sides exposure, because club teams have 7 tournaments as well. Schools. It's a great way to get kids involved in the game because you can start it off as 7's touch and then work up the age grades to tackling. It's less brutal than the 15-a-side. The contact area in the tackle, there are still some massive hits. Have no doubt on that. The players are still big. But you notice, players who play 7's who transfer over to the 15-a-side game, their handling skills are brilliant. They will offload out the back. They will have quick feet, quick hands. The way they look at the game, they will see space and then they'll pass the ball and the other player will hit the line in such a way to make space without having to kick. A lot less kicking in 7's, more running. It tests every skill of a player. Yes, it's now an Olympic sport, Rugby 7's, so it's now reaching a wider audience, and that can only be good. South America is, Brazil are good at 7's, but you look at the South American rugby and they have their own version of the Six Nations now, where apart from Argentina putting out the Jaguars side, they're second string, they're reserves. Uruguay, Brazil, Chile, Canada, all these other nations who people won't realise play rugby have a tournament. Now Uruguay have regularly got to the World Cup and Uruguay are half decent. They're the second best team. They are basically the best team in South America outside of Argentina. You've got Canada and the US, they play rugby as well. So they have their own version of the Six Nations. The quality level isn't quite there yet, but at least these players are now getting exposure on national and international TV. And some of the players are now turning fully professional from semi-pro. Uruguay, I think, will be the next nation to embrace full professionalism. Some of their players do play professionally in Europe and in Argentina, but they'll be the next nation to go full-on professional rugby union. Chile are not that far behind, and neither are Brazil. And there is a fierce rivalry between these three, between Brazil and Chile. They really, on a rugby pitch, hate each other. It is always a brutal encounter. They do not like each other very much. But people are surprised that this takes place, and this is all due to 7's. There's a 7's World Cup. 7's itself has exploded, but it has helped the main game. It's the same with the Auckland Nines in the NRL Rugby League. They've realised 7's is working so well, they've done their own version, and it's helped their game, again with the skill set, the running, not so kicking on the last tackle, but running on the last tackle. It has changed how the game is played. And it brings exposure to fringe players on the periphery of their squads, and it helps experienced players learn new skills. It just develops the game and a new audience. But if you are interested, look at the Hong Kong 7's. Started all this off in the 80s. There were 7's tournaments before, but it wasn't that popular. But Hong Kong 7's, it has exploded. It's still the jewel in the crown of 7's tournaments. Take the World Cup and the Olympics aside, it is the one 7's tournament you want to win on the 7th circuit. You want to win the Hong Kong 7's. And occasionally, there is biblical rain. Fijian style rugby, between the legs, you'll see crazy skills like pop passes through the legs, offloads that you wouldn't expect, passes over the shoulder. You will see handling skills that you would be amazed are possible. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe, place your comments below, and I'll have some more videos for you soon.